Now, Afriforum says banning the old apartheid flag is tantamount to censorship. The lobby group made submissions before the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein today. It wants a 2019 ruling in the South Gauteng High Court overturned. The court banned the display of the 1928 flag, saying it amounts to hate speech. The Nelson Mandela Foundation says unbanning the apartheid flag is an insult not only to Africans, but to every race that supports humanity. Our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila, is following proceedings for us. He joins us now live. So, Aviwe, let's start with Afriforum's arguments in court today.
Well, Shahan, they say that freedom of speech should be allowed, no matter how controversial, provoking, or even if it instills fear in people, it should be allowed. That's the basis of their argument in going back to court, heading to the Supreme Court of Appeals in Bloemfontein, as they try to overturn that decision back in 2019 made by the Equality Court that said that the use of the apartheid flag, whether public or private, is hate speech. Of course, that stems back from that 2017 protest, the Black Monday protest, where we saw a lot of Afriforum members head to the streets protesting against farm members. That's where the apartheid flag was visible. And of course, Nelson Mandela Foundation then took them to court. So we heard those arguments today, and among the arguments of Afriforum, they're saying that if the apartheid flag, or the old flag used back in 1928 to 1994, is a symbol of apartheid and racism, then so should be the Springbok emblem, in the conversation, of course, that Mark Oppenheimer, advocate of Afriforum, was mentioning there. Let's take a listen to that.
That symbol of the Springbok was intimately connected with apartheid. And many people that view that symbol could very well be reminded of all the other indignities that they endured during apartheid. They could imagine exactly the kinds of things that Mr. Atang has given as examples, of being racially abused, of being belittled, thinking about his grandmother when they see that symbol. And the case has been brought on the basis that the old South African flag from 1928 is an apartheid symbol, well, so is the Springbok symbol. And it's a symbol that is seen readily. In other words, whenever one watches the South African national team competing in a rugby match, you have to endure seeing that symbol. And you can imagine someone saying, this brings back all the hurt that I felt during apartheid, all that exclusion, that I myself would have been a promising rugby player, and I was not able to compete on this team because of this racist system that was in place. And if the precedent that is set is that this flag amounts to hate speech, well, then a very similar analogous case can be brought with regards to the Springbok symbol.
What's the Nelson Mandela Foundation saying in court, Aviwe?
Well, Advocate Thembeka Ngcobokaitobi, representing the foundation, did not mince his words when he said that using the old apartheid flag is a celebration of white supremacy and is a form of racism. In fact, he went on to detail how back in 1926, F.W. Malan basically spoke of the flag and how it was a unifying symbol and was used to oppress black people, just detailing and highlighting how it was deemed a unifying factor and how it was a white supremacist symbol, basically. He did not miss his words further in saying, Shahan, that those that still seek to use that flag basically yearn for a past that is long gone now, basically yearn for racism. Of course, that was Thembeka Ngcobokaitobi representing Nelson Mandela Foundation. Let's take a listen to what he had to say a bit earlier on.
The only contemporary meaning to the flag that we know, not the fiction that my learned friend was arguing about, the only contemporary meaning to the flag is a yearning for the return of apartheid. It's the rejection of the constitutional system. That's the true use of this flag. That is why when white people organize a protest about farm murders, they don't talk about the criminality of the farm murders. They talk about the return of the old flag. It's the reminder of the world in which they were birthed. That's the true, real world we live in.
It's also very interesting that Afriforum is saying that they want this banning of the flag to be lifted, but they still feel that the struggle song Dibula Ibulu should be banned, and there's no comparison between the two. Just explain that for us, because you did speak to them earlier.
Coincidentally, Shahan, it's a conversation I had earlier on with Ernest Van Zyl from Afriforum, who said that that song, Tubuli Bunu, is clear. It has a direct meaning in terms of shoot the Boer and kill the Boer. It says this is defending hate speech. He says that Afriforum members are not per se they're saying that it's immoral, in fact, to use the old apartheid flag. They're saying that their members shouldn't use it, even though Ernest Root, after that 2019 ruling, was the first person to use it on Twitter, social media, the apartheid flag, say that their members aren't supposed to use it. They're against it, but they're still just defending hate speech. Never mind that they're in protest against that song, Tubuli Bunu. Quite coincidental, Shahan. But of course, the judgment to this particular matter was reserved, with no indication of when we'll hear the outcome of it at the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein.
Okay, we're going to leave it right there. Our senior reporter, Aviwe Mtila.